You only need to know me. I will be the one.
The legendary One Piece treasure is up for grabs. That's the big takeaway from one of Egghead Island's final chapters. A chapter teasing a much bigger battle royale than we had first anticipated. And to think the central cause of the coming conflict would be that thing which began the story, and now promises to end it. The lost treasure of Joy Boy. Apparently someone unexpected might find and claim it. The One Piece. To that end, it's entirely possible the Straw Hats won't make it to Laugh Tale first, and someone else will beat them there. But is it also possible someone else will find the One Piece before Luffy? Will this have any bearing on who gets to become Pirate King? Or does it only matter who leaves the island of Laugh Tale alive? That person will leave as a king, the king of the pirates. As to who could hypothetically beat Luffy to this end goal, to the final island. The immediate list of names that come to mind are the 4 emperors who, based on their own words, are now all vying to claim the One Piece. But in this video I'm going to explain to you why none of that matters. Why at the end of the day this is a story with a repeated focus on a critical series of final outcomes. Luffy becoming Pirate King, and thereafter changing the world. Everything so far in the story points to the idea that that treasure has been waiting for him. That Joy Boy left it behind for Luffy. So there are 2 different questions to ask. Who gets to Laugh Tale first? And who will find the One Piece first and use whatever it is? What the One Piece might be used for, well, we'll address that in the next video. But when it comes to who will get to that final island first, the list of contenders are small as the rest of the competition has essentially been eliminated from the game. With the downfall of small-time pirates and big-time pirates, most recently Big Mom and Kaido, there are a few big names that have thrown their hat into the ring as substitutes, each declaring some interest in finding that final island and its treasure. The current 4 emperors, Luffy, Blackbeard, Shanks, and most recently Buggy. Luffy first told Kobe of his desire to find the One Piece in Chapter 2. Since the very start, that's been Luffy's goal. Recall that Blackbeard mentioned the One Piece during Impel Down as he walked away from a skirmish that served as a prelude, you could say, for what's to come. If it does come down to Luffy and Blackbeard vying for the ultimate prize. Portrayed as parallel and yet polar opposite competitors ever since that bar or restaurant on Jaya. Both Luffy and Blackbeard are after the 4 road poneglyphs that they need to find Laugh Tale and the One Piece. Each has acquired some of these stones, but not all. Maybe Shanks will be key to finding the last road poneglyph. Shanks has now declared his intentions to go after that legendary treasure, the One Piece. For whatever reason, Shanks now believes the time is right, or that the One Piece can only be found now that Joy Boy has returned. And then there's Buggy, who recently gave a surprising but rousing speech to Mihawk and Crocodile about his desire to become Pirate King and to find the great treasure that Roger left behind. We see Buggy recalling his feud with Shanks after Roger died. Buggy asking Shanks whether he still cares about following in Captain Roger's footsteps, whether they will honor Roger's legacy. Remember Rayleigh said that the people in that crowd inherited something from Roger after he died. Buggy and Shanks were in that crowd, and while they cried, no doubt they intended to make their captain proud. But how? In what way? While Shanks' true purpose is still a mystery, it seems Buggy is intent on making a big score similar to Rock's, noticeably fluctuating between Rock's King of the World objective and Roger's Pirate King title. One thing is for certain, our Emperor Buggy loves treasure, and to become Pirate King he will need to find the greatest treasure of all, the One Piece, which means Buggy needs the road poneglyphs too, which ultimately means Buggy's path will have to cross that of Shanks, Luffy, and Blackbeard. Will Buggy fight any of them? Will all of them end up fighting in a battle royale for Laugh Tale, Or could we see an alliance? The standout panel from chapter 1121 does make it seem like Shanks might be on the side of Luffy, whereas Buggy could be on the side of Blackbeard. Team Red and Team Blue. Bloods and Crips. Buggy even mentions that because of some twist of luck with the formation of Cross Guild, that he is finally on equal footing with Shanks. Imagine seeing Shanks and Mihawk fight again in the present day and age, unless Mihawk refuses to fight Shanks again like he did during Marineford. Or maybe there is no alliance, and while Shanks continues his pursuit of Blackbeard, Luffy and Buggy run into each other separately. Would this mean the long-awaited rematch between Zoro and Mihawk is happening earlier than we thought? We'd also get a rematch between Luffy and Buggy where the Looney Tunes goofiness of Gear 5 and a potential Buggy Devil Fruit Awakening would give Oda the chance to draw the craziest manga fight of all time. The ultimate carnival show. The high chance that the Straw Hats get stopped by Blackbeard on their way to this legendary island is reflected by pre-time skip, as the Straw Hats were sailing toward the Knockup Stream so that they could reach another legendary island, the Sky Island of Skypiea. And who was it again that intercepted them? Blackbeard. So during their journey to Laugh Tale, the Blackbeard pirates might ambush the Straw Hats another time. I've mentioned before that it's likely there will be a sea battle for Laugh Tale. On their way to Onigashima, Luffy, Kid, and Law did tell us that on these seas you fight pirates, as if to imply that the sea was a true pirate's domain. Given the panel spread of various characters in 1121, seeming to hint at various final matchups in the future, it's possible we get some unexpected competition for the One Piece, others that follow or end up following the Straw Hats to Laugh Tale. The battle for Laugh Tale might not just be between Blackbeard and Luffy. There could be others that show up there, maybe mirroring all those pirates that showed up in the One Piece Stampede movie, or mirroring the battle on God Valley between pirates, marines, and celestial dragons. A battle that we now know was over some important treasure, what was called the crown jewel of Hachinosu or Pirate Island. This important treasure on God Valley being fought over by Roger and Zebek could be foreshadowing of what's to come on Laugh Tale between Luffy and Blackbeard. Two Ds fighting on what are now lost islands for a lost treasure that could change the world. But finding the One Piece is nothing compared to taking the prize for yourself. Just because someone finds Laugh Tale or the One Piece first doesn't mean they'll get to claim it. And when it comes to who will claim the One Piece treasure, I think that matters a lot more now given Vegapunk essentially told us as much in chapter 1121. Oda seems to be suggesting that the One Piece treasure is dangerous in the wrong hands, that there will be varying consequences depending on who finds the One Piece treasure first, that there is no guarantee that this treasure Joy Boy left behind would be found by someone that Joy Boy would want to find it. You have to wonder, given Joy Boy was the very first pirate ever, did Joy Boy intentionally hide this treasure on an impossibly difficult to find island, for the very reason that he wanted to limit the risk of the One Piece falling into the wrong hands? Make it as hard to find as possible in hopes that the wrong person would ultimately quit, give up, lack the will to continue the adventure. Pirates are typically associated with buried treasure, often on ghost islands, lost islands, as in, the island itself is a treasure to be found, a mystery to be unraveled. There is an X for the island, and an X marks the spot of buried treasure. Just like an X now marks the chest of Luffy, as if a treasure chest marked by an X, as if Luffy is also treasure or key to finding this treasure. Aside from the Straw Hat, the letter or symbol X possibly marks the spot of the man who Roger and Joy Boy left that treasure for. But even that is not a guarantee that Luffy will get to the One Piece first. More so a hint that whatever the One Piece is, the One Piece might only respond to Luffy. When it comes to the importance of the One Piece, and likewise Luffy's importance to the One Piece, Whitebeard does tease this during Marineford. Whitebeard tells Blackbeard that he is not the man Roger is waiting for, and whoever does find the One Piece first will bring about a great war and change to the world. Whitebeard's telling of what we can call a prophecy kind of gives the game away. He also mentions a will to be inherited, a will that will never stop burning, a will that has not yet disappeared. The same will of D Vegapunk spoke of prior to mentioning the One Piece, and so Oda juxtaposing the will of D and the One Piece treasure together. Maybe only a D can find the One Piece, use the One Piece, or at least Goldie Roger is waiting for someone that also has the will of D, but it's not Marshall D Teach, it's Monkey D Luffy. If each D insignia carries a slightly different will, then Roger is waiting for the one whose will mirrors his own, which might explain the repeated focus on Luffy behaving like Roger, Luffy saying the same words as Roger, as it's likely both Roger and Luffy have similarities to Joy Boy. Maybe this is why Roger questioned who would find the One Piece after him, why Roger felt it would be his son, as a son is likely to share the same will as you, or the same personality traits or characteristics. There's also a belief that Roger never really found the One Piece and instead only learned what it is and where it is. But since Roger did mention the unbelievable treasure Joy Boy left behind, Roger likely did find it. He just never used it. Either because he had run out of time, his lifespan ending, or because the time wasn't right. The One Piece can only be found or acquired at a specific moment by the right person. But even that doesn't make sense given Vegapunk suggests anyone can use the One Piece, whether for good or evil, depending on who finds it first. Shanks going after the One Piece and that treasure being left behind by Joy Boy for the one who has inherited Joy Boy's will. Maybe for the one who shares the same dream as Joy Boy. And so, despite Shanks' newfound ambition, Shanks gave away the straw hat given to him by Roger. Shanks gave his favorite hat away to Luffy, likely with the recognition that Shanks is also not the man Roger is waiting for. It's not you either, Shanks. Some have argued Shanks is not really interested in the One Piece, but by going after it, he can prevent the wrong person from getting it. Most recently, Shanks gave a warning to Eustace Kid to turn over his poneglyphs or face destruction. We know which path Kid chose and what happened after. Shanks taking those poneglyph rubbings, I believe, because he wants to lure Blackbeard out of hiding, or find Laugh-Tail first, to stop Blackbeard from getting the One Piece first. In the anime episode for Shanks' fight with Eustace Kid, we see Shanks' Haki turn into the image of a griffin. Spiritually, Shanks is like a griffin, and so a protective character. He's been protecting and watching over Luffy since Chapter 1. From the Sea Kings, where he lost an arm, during the Marineford War when he brought that war to an end, and also the end of Wano when he attacked Green Bull while asking a question about the New Age. Each time Shanks was making a bet on the New Age at great personal sacrifice. Oda repeatedly reminding us that the New Age is something Shanks is prepared to die for. The New Age is what Shanks is safeguarding. The One Piece treasure has the power to shape the direction of this New Age depending on who finds it, and from there how it is used. And remember, Shanks did promise to return to Laugh-Tail on his own one day, maybe even with Buggy. Shanks arriving at that island first is likely, as he's portrayed as one of the fastest characters in the series. Shanks' flagship, the Red Force, might even be the fastest ship in the series. Shanks showing up to the Marineford War in record time, much to the surprise of the Marines, given he was just in a battle or skirmish with Kaido the day prior. But it's not always the fastest person that wins the race, or the person that had a head start. Sometimes it's the one that takes it slow, bides their time, hiding in the shadows waiting for the chance to outpace you, overlap you. Cunning people like Blackbeard fit this description, as he used the man Whitebeard, who was said to be the closest to the title of the Pirate King, closest to the One Piece, after the death of Roger. Blackbeard used his own cunning to trick this man into catapulting him one step closer to the location of the final island. Under the possibility that Shanks genuinely has an interest in the One Piece, I do find it kind of cool that Shanks might feel entitled to it. Just like Blackbeard and Beehive or Pirate Island, and the flagship known as the Saber of Xebec. All inherited from Rox de Xebec. Shanks might feel as if he is owed something left behind by Roger. Shanks seems to have been kept out of the loop when it comes to Roger's illness, the incurable disease that he was suffering from. After all, Shanks as a cabin boy was still a child alongside Buggy. It doesn't seem like they knew just how bad Roger's condition was. If Shanks had known, would he have made a different decision and gone to Laugh Tale with his captain? But I think the possibility that Shanks genuinely has an interest in the One Piece could be cool, given that Shanks has been, or Shanks has seen, glimpses, traces of Roger in Luffy. Maybe now Shanks can do what he didn't get to do before by going to Laugh Tale with Luffy, or at least meeting Luffy there. Better yet, competing with Luffy for the One Piece might be Shanks' fun way of bonding with a captain that left him too soon. Luffy being a substitute for Roger, the man Shanks never got to surpass. Shanks has also been portrayed as someone that has no deep love of treasure, like other pirates. Instead, he's just like Luffy and perhaps even Roger, where the true treasure is the adventure itself. Shanks is depicted as carefree and a man of little means. The world is his oyster. He can already do anything he wants. The sea and its breeze, some good friends, and booze is all Shanks needs. And so the likelihood of a man like Shanks, who has shown little to no interest in coveting or chasing after fancy titles, be it Pirate King or the world's greatest swordsman, despite keeping up with those who do yearn to hold those titles, the likelihood of a man like Shanks to actually want the One Piece treasure, to actually desire the title of a king, is slim to none. Instead, there is a promise Shanks appears to have made to Roger the last time they spoke, leading Shanks to cry. Those tears might have dried up over the years, but they still matter. A connection is plausibly drawn by Oda during Marineford, when Shanks reminds an unconscious Luffy of their promise. A promise he expects Luffy to keep. A promise that Shanks knows would kill Luffy, pain Luffy immensely if it were to be broken. Likewise, Shanks must feel the same about whatever promise he made to Roger. And if it involves finding the One Piece, or shepherding the one who will, Shanks intends to keep it, to ensure his own promise is never broken. But as usual, we will have to wait and see. Don't forget to like the video, comment with your thoughts below, and subscribe. You can also find me on Twitter at the following address, @VinlandRagnar. My Twitter page is on the screen. Also check out my other One Piece channel called Vinland Leaks, where I'll be making shorter One Piece videos and responding to your comments. And I'm trying out something entirely different with a channel called Vinland Dark, for those of you that like my darker One Piece videos. Again, links will be in the description box and pinned in the comment section below. As always, there is more to come. Until next time.